So, after talking the effective communication in institutions, we would like to invite Dr. Li, who is active in various professional activities such as scientific program assessments, manuscript reviews, and industrial consultation and services, to share her secrets of networking. Please join me to welcome Dr. Li. Dr. Li, you are all welcome to start your presentation.
Sounds great. Let me see if I can share my screen with the slides, right? But in the meantime, I want to congratulate this student committee. So you guys did a fantastic job. What an impressive organization. No, I feel like you guys did a really good job. In the meantime, I reflect on I have to apologize. Um, this semester is super, like a hectic for me. So that's one thing I will tell you. Not only congratulate, I think Jerry, Chenxi, and Juan. The other one, I think, Fujun Zhu. Uh, you're part of a committee, right? But otherwise, I know Jerry, Juan, and Chenxi, they all contact me. And throughout the entire process, and so you started like ahead of time and so prepare us and gave a list of questions. I mean, incredible. You guys did fabulous job in the way, let me tell you. So that's one of the characteristics I will share with you later. How to be successful. Persistent. That's exactly. And so don't give up. And so you start, you started right. And we have a time, no matter how professors, how other people's, and they're busy, don't give up. Just chase them. So that's exactly. I felt like guilty. I feel like, oh my God, look at me. And so yes, I'm super busy, swamped by tons of things. But I owe you something. I have to. Okay. So I think that's one of the characteristics, and so I congratulate to all of you. You did a fabulous job. Um, Again, I apologize. I wish and I could have more time to polish. The slides is not my normal standard, and so I could do a little bit of better job and make it fancier. Trust me. But this is just even to earlier today we talk about, and so if you are a kind of a scholars or researchers, you always then go for a perfection. And to some point, I have to tell you, you need to take care of self, pick up self-care. You need to really drop this like a perfection sense of like, I need to get it the best. You just cannot. Okay. And excuse yourself, give you some break and feel like, okay, I just do a just good enough job. That's good enough. All right. That's what I'm delivering here. Just good enough. Or at least in a better than a minimum valuable product, MVP. So I see my colleague, Dr. Cervantes Lee. So he's a professor from business, and so he would probably laugh about. And so this MVP, and in the sports, when you say MVP, everyone knows it's the most valuable players. But in the business, it's a minimum viable product. So we can deliver as a minimum viable product to some point in your career. You will appreciate. That's good enough. All right. Don't go for perfect. I think, and so Dr. Du shared, his experience and tips, and so he mentioned work hard. Yes, absolutely agree with that. But in the meantime, I think in my slides, more talk, I will emphasize on how to work smart. Work hard, yes, you have to, but also work smart. There are so many things, and so you have to work smartly. Let me tell you this before we dive into my talk. So when you embark on a PhD study, okay, think about it. So this is a mutual choice. So you are not a soul to say you have to do it. It's your own choice. Okay. So anything from this point in your career, just keep that in mind. I keep saying this. It is a mutual choice, a mutual selection. You selected to embark on PhD. You select a professor. All right. You also have a right if it's opposite way. And in the question, and some of you ask, and so how to maintain a healthy dynamic, like student advisor. Or if you were chosen, somehow you were arranged, were chosen, or maybe, and so from the first round when you applied a PhD program or faculty, and I don't know, some like graduate studies, and so you were not given the opportunity to choose your faculty mentor. So you actually apply and to the program. So it's a kind of a centralized admission or enrollment process. So then at the end, and so you were assigned with a professor, right? If that's the case, work hard and then go talk to the professor, the mentor directly, and seek some advice and so from the other teammates and fellow students in the same research group or other faculty. And don't be shy, seek and so advice, and then you try your best to work out. If not, it is perfectly fine and say no. Remember, it is a mutual choice. You have 50% of a right to choose and to stay or to leave. You have a 50% of a chance to choose, say, I want to continue, finish a PhD, or I'm leaving. And I have a master degree and I probably go find a better job somewhere. Okay. So that's what I'm telling you. And so you need to work smartly and then constantly and so reflect on, is this what I want? If this is what I want, then you can obviously and so accept all the criticism and you can always and so listen, open ears and make improvement. But ask your heart, if this is not what I want, and don't torture you. There are tons of things and career pathways and it opens up for you. Okay. So with that, and so because and you have a series, I would really wish I could join this week. And so the earlier sessions and so with different career pathways, working for the government, the industry, you name it, even for the non-for-profit organizations. Um, but if I was signed to talk about academia, so I would just start it, say, this is the characteristics and a typical academic position like a tenure track faculty, if we talk about tenure track faculty. So you have to do teaching research service. So if I run and so with animation, so this part should pop up later. Okay. So what does it mean? And so I try my best and so even to balance out. And so it should be all equally in my opinion, equally important. You need to have really good teaching performance, even like in the research institution. If your teaching performance evaluated by student or evaluated by your peer is not on par, you are at a risk to get your tenure and a promotion. No matter what, you need to like pass your teaching performance, then you can focus on your research. Even more so, let me tell you, and so because I have been serving as the what we call like university academia tenure promotion probation. So you start as a probationary. So this is called like a RTP, probation, tenure, promotion. So I served in the committee and so at all levels. So I was chair of the department RTP committee and served in the college level. And then last year I served in the university. So in the university and so on the last year annual basis, we had 180, okay, faculty out of roughly 2,000 faculty up for different level of tenure and promotion. Okay, so we have to review only 9 of us. Each of us need to review almost like 20 individually. And also we need to serve as a second reviewer or commenter for the other set of 20. So it's a huge load of work. But what I can tell you is like, if you are up for tenure from assistant professor promoted to associate professor, you unfortunately you don't have a privilege or you don't have a luxury say, oh, I will be pop up and so I'm a superstar in the research, but my teaching performance, my service is really low at a risk. So you will have put yourself in a very risky situation to get the favorite evaluation from all levels and for tenure promotion. So that's unfortunately, and so 5-6 years, you need to really balance out. That's what I mean here. You need to be able to multitasking. You need to be able to and also become well-rounded. Okay. So after that's why, and the tenure system in North America, where I don't know in China, probably now also implemented that kind of system. So the tenure system actually is really good. It's very protective. So once and so you gain the tenure, so you start to have the privilege or luxury say, you know what, I want to become a really superstar in research. So you're teaching, you drop your performance a little bit or drop a load of it, which is fine. No one would say anything or service. And so, what I chose in the color, I will tell you later. So this is probably sometimes, and so it's more technical based on your own individual performance. But the service, look at all this, is really related to dealing with people. Okay. So it's really kind of like a people skill, like soft skill. Um, but otherwise, and I think, and so then you will, even like a research, and so you will not do alone as Dr. Du mentioned earlier, so when you are a PhD student or postdoc, so you have to work in the lab, if not 24 hours, 16 hours per day, right? Or 12 hours per day and 7 days the week. And so you collect data, then you troubleshoot, you fix the machine and you do data analysis, and so it's all yours. But when you transition into a faculty, you don't have time, literally, no. I see myself, and so if you ask me, I still have research students and in the lab. How many hours and I spend the time with them in the lab? Minimum. Even sometimes time someday less than 1 hour per day, or maybe 5 hours that week. And so you will not go to the lab and so do everything by yourself. Then you have to do what? You supervise the students. So when you supervise the student, if you want to mentor them, partly and for them to grow professionally and to be very efficient, and then in return, you can count on them. They will produce and data, make your research productive. So I keep telling my students that, okay, it's all about efficiency and productivity. If you find a way to supervise your student, make them work efficiently and happily, then you will have productivity. Okay. So once you look into that angle, it is all about like dealing with people. So it's no longer dealing with the work, it's the technical work. So again, go back and so get clear understanding what the academic position entailed, required for. So you can really eventually, and so my last slides, and so talk to you is like, and so take action to reflect and then do a self-assessment. Ask yourself, so do I have a, equally distributed strength? Or do I really hate teaching? Or do I really hate, and so not service? If you don't see yourself and so have some adaptation or adaptability, but don't force yourself. Okay. Again, don't force yourself and to be open to teaching or service. If that's not thing you don't enjoy, you to some point you become a really kind of a burdened. You drag your feet that I really don't want to do, don't do, and you choose smartly another career option. Okay. But if you feel like, and so I don't hate teaching, I enjoy research and service I'm not good at, but at least, and so I know it's important, I need to pick up. And from now on, learn by doing, learn by mistake, learn by, and so dealing with some difficult people or difficult committee or some kind of work, and then learn it and sharpen and harness your skills. Okay. So with that, of course, and so they need some qualification. So I don't think we need to talk about here. You all at a master or PhD, and so you know it. So you definitely need to have a really solid PhD or even master degree, right? And then come to the research part. Again, it is really mutual choice or smart choice. You should choose. So don't always just wait for the faculty advisor to assign a topic for you. I reflect myself. Unfortunately, for all my degrees, I have 4 degrees in chemical engineering, food engineering, biochemical engineering. All my master, bachelor even, I had a thesis, 2 masters, 1 PhD. The topics were not, I was not the one to choose. I was not given that a privilege. I was always given the topic, and so now reflect on was not a favorite topic. So the other students in the same research group they probably know or they had early knowledge, whatever reason, they decide not to proceed. So then my professor asked me, so how about you do this? Without hesitation or without even like back then, think about what is my take and can I argue back? No. I said, okay. I felt like I don't want to do, but what option do I have? I don't have a right. I'm not at the position to say no to my professor. I was thankful enough and for him, for multiple of them accept me. I said, whatever, I will do. So I will then work hard, as Dr. Du mentioned. And so then little by little to cultivate my passion, cultivate my love of the topic. But you know what? At the end, when I left from 3 research group, I take just a little pride about when I leaving, I leave a legacy there. I do. I do, and so anything I take task when I leave, I leave a legacy. What I mean is like, and so when I visit, and so the other after so many years, and student, of course, they don't know me, but they read my that dissertation, and then my former professor and introduced me to them. I said, "Oh, you are that Olive. Oh, that's you." It sounds like my PhD dissertation, my master dissertation became a Bible in the lab. So that's I think, and so you can cultivate your love, your passion, and you take a fearless step, and so then you just create some pioneer work. Okay. And there's no in Chinese, and we say there's no road. If you're the one, you lead, you cut the bushes, and so then flat it out, people follow you, there's a road, there's a career pathway. Okay. So with that, I think, and so the qualification, as I mentioned, so if you look at all 3 competencies, your solid track record publication, your research experience, teaching experience, all the skill sets, which is like a soft skills, come to the end and boil down is like IQ and EQ. So when we embarked on it, so earlier we were trained, and we have our, like a thank to our parents, we have a really good, decent IQ. But then when you really move into the career, and especially even like it doesn't matter in the industry, academia, or government, you need to deal with people. Okay, you think, and so in one career pathway, you don't need to deal with people. No, everywhere you go, you will need to deal with people, and in different situation, different setting. Okay, a different kind of a what I say is like a game playing rules, or game playing is a game playing rules. So that's the EQ, emotional quotient. You need to pick up, okay, sooner or later. And with that, and I think this is what I think summarized in a way is like a matching personality. And so ask yourself, so are you curious enough? So I think, and why the reason I put it here is really is curiosity driven. So researchers is always kind of like driven by your own curiosity. And we have natural like thirsty about why. So we just chase that. So we don't get it easily contempted to say, oh yeah, oh, that's the fact. No, because you have to keep asking why. Why is that? So the curiosity, and so I think now, especially nowadays, and so with the AI, artificial intelligence coming, many of the jobs and also careers, I think sooner or later will be replaced by the robots, by the AI. But if there are several like careers, professions left open, it's really career curiosity driven. You cannot give up your curiosity. So that's the source, and for you to keep learning. Okay, as we mentioned, and so we need to become a lifelong learner. And then the resilience. And I think, and so kudos to Jerry, Jen, and Chen Xi. They are persistent, resilient. They don't give up. And even like they sent me several emails in a week, I didn't ignored. So then they still, and so sending me. Absolutely. Okay. No shame. Don't feel shame about that. No, that's your job. If you don't deliver it, if you commit yourself to a large group of something, if you cannot deliver it, you won't finish your job, you will be shamed, right? So then why not? Just persist to it, and so then chase other people. The others, and of course, and you have to balance, and so how to collaborative and how to be independent. What I see, and so when I serve as the search committee chair for four of my junior faculty, two in the nutrition side and two in the food science side. So I can tell you, and so some, because I was search committee chair, I hired them. So I felt like obligated to make sure they will be successful. So in their early years, like first and second years at least. So if I see, and so they struggled, they had a really tension, and so between, professor and the students, I need to help. So, but based on their personality, and so then some I need to encourage them, say, you need to be independent. Okay, some, and so they are really kind of a fresh PhD or fresh postdoc without, they are kind of like a back-to-back school. Okay, even like when they get the assistant professor position, like he's one of the faculty, he's just like 30 years old, so young. No, like, like a kind of professional experience. So for that, I think, and sometimes, and I need to encourage you need to be independent. You need to start to establish your own research career, your teaching performance. You don't always listen to others. Where and every little things you ask, okay, ask a mentors, ask a colleague, and so tell you, no, you need to take that ownership. Okay, be independent. Even you may make some mistake. Then so what? You learn from there, okay? But for some, and so I think, and so very kind of independent and with already established track record, and so in the area, very specialized niche area. But I try to let them know you need to collaborative. You need to reach out and so branch out. If especially sometimes, and when we finish a PhD dissertation, we become, the dimension wise, you have like a platform, you kind of drill in very deep, very specialized, very narrow. You can be successful, keep doing that way, and drill the hole, and also break through. That's why, and drill the ground, and so then all the way so deep, and no one can catch you. You can be successful. But otherwise, given the nature of a food science, okay, if you do rocket science and so like quantum physics, not many, researcher scholars and so at the same level. Be yourself. And be yourself, be alone. Keep your sharpness. But food science, come on, it is so applied. You better apply and your very specific area, specialties, and so knowing what's going on in the other areas. So that's why, and even like collaborated with plant science faculty and with animal science, with ag economics, it really help you. Okay. So that's why I think, and so when you do this collaborative, again, it need a skill to deal with people and so with a different personality and a different communication style, then you need to really, and so harness that skill, okay, practice. So finally, and you have to be adaptable. So that means, and so when you work around with people, especially, it's not like a technical work, and so you can make a plan, experimental plan, timeline, just stick to it. But when you deal with people, you have to be flexible, right? And when you and reach out and back and forth, and so make already confirm the meeting, but last minute, and so that people say no, I cannot make it, you get mad with them? You can't. You have to say yes, okay, fine, and you take care of yourself. Let's reschedule. So keep open-minded and keep adaptive, and so constantly keep changing. All right, and don't be stubborn and stick to something, and so become flexible. So then the strategies to to survive, first to survive, then thrive. You need to have a network. So I think, given the feedback from Jerry and Jen, you want me to talk about here, I think I will spend a little bit more time. But otherwise, and so the other things, and so the tips, and it's very important. Work-life balance, trust me, if you can have really the best relationship with your mom, with your family, when you get married, with your partners, and husband, wife, if you have the best healthy relationship with the people you are most close, you will be halfly successful to dealing with other relationship. Okay, keep my words. If you are successful in your life, you can handle the most intimate like relationships, you will just get help and seek the feedback, because sometimes and so you have hard days, hard days, a hard time outside, you can always come back and talk. So your other people, your family members, and so will probably give you other perspective, or at least comfort you. Okay, so that's important. Keep learning important. Stay organized, and so learn to. There are tons of like technologies nowadays with the digitalization of the office work, and learn the technologies and to become a more organized. There are tons of like, the bookings, Calendly, when to meet, Doodle pool, use it, okay? And keep yourself organized. But if you want to be focused on the network, and so that's the case. When I put this attend conferences, it's not only just attend proactively. What I mean is proactively ask yourself, if you go to attend a conference, do you have a poster or oral presentation? Because that's the first and foremost, and so then you want to utilize that opportunity. And you are under the spotlight, okay? So that you need to do the best job to attract attention and increase your visibility. And after that, then if you have some topics or some scholars, some professors, and read the program book, back then, and so we have a thick like a program book, and so then you have to make a note. I do that. I circle. I said which one I want to go and which professor I want to chase. Okay. So if now we have a digital, you do your homework, circle some topics and also professors, and go to that symposium or the whatever the seminar, and force yourself, even sometimes, and so the topic is very deep or very broad, is a little beyond than what we can comprehend, right? But force yourself and say, okay, I need to ask a question at the end of the session. Even like I can barely understand half of it or 70% of it, but no matter what, and force yourself, I need to ask a question. So you can always then start with like, after so many years, look back, oh, that was stupid question. That's fine. Who laugh at you? And so there will be always someone need to ask some stupid question, but you reflect on, and after that say, why it is stupid? It sounds like it's so obvious. Then you sharpen yourself, and so in the long run, you will ask a very sharp, to the point question. When you ask that question, everyone look at you and said, oh, who's that researcher, that boy, that girl? My God, she or he's so good. Ask a so sharp question. You will and immediately attract all the visibility, attention. Then when you finish, you follow up with that professor, say, professor, I asked question, you address it, thank you so much, but I have more questions, can I follow up with you? So that's how, what I mean, you network proactively. You have to, and so lift yourself, make yourself more visible. All right. So how to make yourself visible? It's not by, okay, I can offer something. It's by asking. Remember, in Chinese, when we say 做学问, I'm sorry, and so I see in Patrick or someone you don't understand Chinese, but let me translate. So in Chinese, when they do ask, learn, that's exactly in Chinese 做学问. Okay, so learn by what? Learn by asking, right? If we say 学问, what is that? Learn by asking. Like in our Cal Poly Pomona, we have a learn by doing. But otherwise, it is learn by asking. How can you become knowledgeable? You keep learning, right? Learning for what? Become knowledgeable, become scholar, become, we can contribute to the knowledge base. But how? By asking. When you ask more, you learn more. And don't be shy. Don't just sit there and passively and so, oh, I receive it. No, in your mind and force yourself that I need to ask question. Okay, I can share a little if I have a little bit more time. This is what I train myself. When I was at the University of Toronto and I had my second master and PhD and a postdoc. So we have monthly the graduate seminar courses required for all the masters and PhD students, right? So at the end of that semester, we are asked, and so I think weekly, and when we finish the seminar, we need to write a report. as a part of a grade, and that semester you get a grade for that seminar course. So I remember, and so it's a large, it's a chemical and material engineering department. It's huge, and with like about 40 faculties. The research topic is from everywhere, from mining. Think about it, from pulp and paper, and from bioengineering, tissue engineering, from food. Sometimes the research seminar, and so it is top notch. I have to give a credit, and so we invite, and so the Nobel Prize laureate. So each semester we may have like a one or two Nobel Prize laureate. You can imagine when they were invited, talk about something like quantum physics, and for where I remember probably this year's Nobel Prize, the godfather of AI, Professor Hinton, was invited. I kind of like feel like look at his face, it sounds familiar. But you can imagine when those people were invited to talk to us. When I was a master PhD student, I couldn't understand. Forget about it. Even like some seminars, I would barely understand maybe 10%, 20%. But then I made myself, I said, no matter what, I will make a question. I will stand up. I will ask. So that's what I train myself. And so in year one, year two, I was the one stupid. And so ask a question and everyone look at, but to the end, I remember in my last year as a PhD, when I stand up and ask question, everyone look at me, almost salute. Oh, wow, that's a sharp question. Wow. Even like, I still halfly, barely 40%, 50% understand the topic. But I can ask a very sharp, very relevant question and to poke. So I think, and so that's what I train myself. And so, of course, maybe I'm naturally, and so I'm not a shy person. I'm fearless. I never feel like afraid of something. But if you're a shy person, but still work on it, and so then maybe once a while, and make a really good note, make a note and formulate some question, and then stand up, train yourself. Okay. So I think that's what I think I want to focus on the network. The challenges is always there, and this is again the challenges applies not only in the academia, in the industry. You will see in the government. Oh, I even don't want to think about it. I never imagine I can work in the governmental agencies. Forget about it. I know huge challenges, and my personality, my way of communication, or way of doing, and no, I would never match that. But otherwise, and so everywhere you go, and when you have especially a PhD degree, you will have high expectations. Everyone look at you, okay? And so then they have a higher criteria. They look at you, and you have a heavy workload. Then it's very competitive to keep yourself in. So again, very competitive at the competitive edge. You need to be sharp. When you need to be sharp, then you need to ask questions. All right. So I think that's probably I want to wrap up. Leave alone, and so the summaries require some kind of combination of the competence, matching personal traits. Again, let me emphasize, it's a mutual choice. You can always it's never be too late to tell yourself, okay, and you embark on a early career in academia, and you tried, even maybe, and so after 5, 6, 7 years, it didn't work out for you. You will not get a 10-year promotion. It's not the end of the world. It's nothing, which is fine. And go find an industry position. You probably find, oh my God, for your rest of life, you enjoy that environment, that working style completely. Okay. So just keep that in mind and to give yourself an option and a choice, and how you do and make a smart move each step to really kind of like build upon. Okay. So reflect. So I really feel myself, and so I'm a very reflective learner. And no matter what I do, and even like sometimes and mostly I did a really good job, and so I still reflect. I will say, okay, challenge myself, and so I did a decent job, a good job for organizing something and for publish a paper, for get a proposal, but still there's room for improvement. So keep that in mind and reflect on yourself, especially when you fail something. You better do a really good reflection, and then to learn the lesson and avoid, and so any like missteps, and so avoid that mistake. In Chinese, we say you can fail once, you can fail twice, but don't fail 3 times, right? So with that, I think good luck to all of you, and I'm open to any questions at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Li,